Now, the presidency has confirmed that President Bola Tinubu has approved the 15% import tariff on petrol and diesel, describing the policy as a strategic step to stimulate local refining and strengthen Nigeria's energy independence. According to a statement by the special advisor to the President on Media and Public Communications, Mr. Sunday Dari, on his official X handle, the new policy is a bridge, not a boarding, aimed at transforming Nigeria's petroleum landscape and securing long-term economic stability. It described the policy as a strategic measure to end Nigeria's dependence on imported fuel and accelerate the country's path to energy self-sufficiency. He explained that for years, Nigeria has depended heavily on imported fuel, despite being one of the world's leading crude oil producers, a situation that drained foreign exchange, hindered job creation, and stifled local refining investments. On the other side, the Nigerian Labour Congress has cautioned against the Nigerian government's newly approved 15% import tariff on petrol and diesel, warning that this could backfire or lead to price manipulation or consumer exploitation. Spokesperson of the NLC, Benson Upa, said this in an interview with Newsmail. Well, my guest today is Dr. Billy Gidi-Hari. He is the president of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owner Association of Nigeria. He joins me live from our Abuja studios for this conversation. Dr. Billy, it's good to have you discuss this topic. Thank you for joining us on Business Nigeria.
Thank you so much for having us on Business Nigeria.
I think I should start with your direct reactions to this new move, 15% tax on fossil fuel, imported fuel, and all of that. How does it come to operators, major players in the industry like you?
Well, first of all, the economic spin doctors of the government may have worked out their numbers, but I think there must have also been quite a lot of consultations to have arrived at where we are with this 15% projection. I'll call it projection because we still need to test it, still need to try it, we still need to get empirical evidence and values to be able to compute how it impacts either positively or not so positively, in the Nigerian economy. But other than that, I would say that the reasons advanced for this 15% majorly is just protection of the local industry in that sector. And that, for me, is a very responsible action by the government. It's very responsible. However, while you want to take a responsible action, there is always need to review the circumstances where we are. We have to look at the buying power of the Nigerian citizen. We have to look at things from the perspective of citizen government relationship, not customer businessman relationship. Yes, the government needs money, but the government needs more the stability and happiness of the Nigerian people more than anything else. So, in my opinion, it's a good policy, but it needs to be tested slowly and to get accurate values so that we can really measure how this operates, how it will affect the Nigerian economy.
Talking about how it affects the Nigerian economy, now protecting local players in the industry like the refiners and all of that. When that happens, because the argument is we spend lots of money to import petroleum products. But I asked this question yesterday because I was on this same topic, and I said, is the Dangote refinery able to satisfy Nigeria's supply needs with regards to PMS at the moment? And why are we still importing if truly we are importing?
Well, business is a combination of strategy, marketing, actual values, and projections. So we are happy as Nigerians that we have the Dangote refinery. It's a miracle for us in Nigeria. But the points that we must have to check is that once there is a good stuff, it should cascade down to all of the players and all of the people that benefit or are going to be impacted by the business. I do not think that the 15% import tariff is solely aimed to benefit Dangote Refinery. I believe that it is also going to do one of two things that I think needs to move as fast as possible, to be a source of encouragement, a source of inspiration for investors to come in and do their refining work in Nigeria, and ultimately making Nigeria a net exporter of refined product, because we are talking about carbon credit, we are talking about climate change, but up till now, most of the advanced countries that are discussing that are also still importing or buying or processing fossil fuel to power their energy needs. So that means that our oil and gas in Nigeria has some more decades and some many, many more years to stay. So if the government's policy is effectively reviewed, and the test run, I believe that there has to be a test run period, which is what I didn't see in that letter. I would have suggested that at least we have a 90 days trial period to be able to see how this will impact on the availability of petroleum product in Nigeria. Because as it is today, we have very dependable data that we can get from NMDPRA as to what local production of PMS is, what local production of AGO is, what local production of ATK, aviation cargo, and what imported values are. So when you look at the numbers, obviously you can see that the local production is not meeting the daily needs of Nigerians. So, but however, are we going to stay importing forever? The answer is no. So for Petrol, we encourage new investors. We even encourage our members who have the capacity to come together, not just individual companies, but a group effect, to be able to sponsor a refinery and get a refinery working in Nigeria that can do at least another 500,000 barrels per day. So it is, in my opinion, it's going to be a shot in the arm to encourage other investors from other climes to come in and invest in Nigeria as an export hub. And then what's that going to do? It's going to make the upstream operators in Nigeria, especially the government, to start thinking outside the box on how we can increase our local crude oil production for local refining. So in which case, even if we're able to raise our production back to 5 million barrels a day, we should have enough refinery to do that and supply the world. So this is what this policy can easily bring, even though in the beginning we see the not so good part of it, because certainly 15% adds up to the production of any business. And once there is a high cost in production, it will affect the eventual cost of sales. So the end user, who will interface with Petrol as the last mile in the industry. So we are the ones where the tire hits the road. And so we are very cautious not to make any categorical statement, but to keep monitoring how this will develop and encourage the government in the best way they can go. But on the face of it, this is a good policy. It will encourage local refining and even other businesses, because it shouldn't just be for only the downstream side. It should also impact on agri, impact on technology, impact on housing, impact on different aspects of our economy that should be able to encourage local production. This way, Nigeria will get back to our glory of the 70s, where we had so much production and less imports. So we should be heading towards there. So I think this is where we're going to.
Now, let me ask, the worry of many Nigerians, like me too, is the fact that this might affect pricing. And that is the worry. Nigerians believe that when there is any increase in the price of PMS, we as consumers, users of this product, bear the burden. So that's also another worry. Are you sure this is not another round of increase we'll be expecting? And as of today, in Lagos, I don't know, you're in Abuja. In Lagos, we're buying fuel at about 925 naira per litre. At the time, we bought about 850, 60 naira, and we thought it was going to continue to decline. So are these the back and forth, or this is what we'll continue to see in a deregulated market?
Well, we have said it earlier that an increase in cost of doing business will certainly affect increase in the price of selling that product. So there is no brainer. You don't have to go to School of Economics to know that if you pay 15% on imported product, which is, so as of today, accounting for over 69% of the local daily consumption, certainly that 15% will trickle down to the retail outlet that's going to pass it on to the end user. So there is no brainer about that. That is a certain thing. But also, I want us to look at the other part, where the fact that this policy can easily trigger mass investment into the refining subsector, such that in the next 3 years, we should be able to see another mega refinery and maybe some medium refineries of 100,000 barrels a day, 300,000 barrels per day, 150,000 barrels a day. And there's so much that can be done. So then, and I've already also projected that then the upstream operators can then start to tinker with how local production can be ramped up. And that will certainly be the reason why refined petroleum price in Nigeria will come down. So that is going to be up does not mean it will be up forever. So there are two sides of the story, and we need to be able to look at it. This is why I give credit to the president for endorsing this policy. But why we applaud him and give him all the support we need, we also want the president as a father to keep watching what the results will be. So if there's a need to review it downwards, we review it downwards, because it's the happiness and the good economic well-being of Nigerians and the whole country that should give him the happiness and joy he has as a father of the nation.
Now, almost finally, looking at the industry, particularly the downstream now in general, there's been a series of issues back and forth and all of that around the downstream of Nigeria's oil and gas industry. Yes, I know your time. You're already looking at your time. But where are we with regards to some of these issues, and what's the way forward? As we are moving towards the end of the year, no one wants fuel scarcity. No one wants increase. No one wants, we just want it to be as seamless as it could be.
Let me congratulate Mr. President again and his team. And I want to thank specifically the Minister of Petroleum Oil, Senator Lukobiri, the ACE, the Authority Chief Executive of NMDPRA, the Director General of the Department of State Services, and all of his team for everything they have done to intervene in ensuring that the industry is stable and there is peace and there is unity, and work is ongoing, even as we speak today, to ensure that whatever that needs to be done to give our local giant, Dangote Refinery, the best support, we'll do so. While we're doing that, we'll also make sure that petroleum products that is coming from other sources will ultimately find their way to the market in such a proportion that we are not going to mortgage our local refining giants, or even the smaller ones that are coming up. So with that in mind, I can easily predict that during the course of the Yuletide, there will be no petroleum product scarcity. There will be petroleum product availability, and I personally believe, that price will also be somewhat stable. So I will want to encourage Nigerians not to be so much in panic, but let's hope for the best for this country.
So if finally now, so if this happens and the 15% is implemented and all of this, the issue of monopoly, which we've been talking about, if strength is given so much to local refining, energy security and monopoly, I don't think they work hand in hand. Do you think we won't have that problem one way or the other?
The fact that there is a monopolistic tendency has not been removed from the table of discussion. And I believe that every one of us are working towards that to make sure that none of us is indeed looking forward to monopolize the industry, regardless of size, regardless of operational efficiency. It's everybody has to play in the industry and ensure that we serve Nigerians better. So, like I said, the 15%, right now we are looking at just the immediate cost. 15% will come in 30 days' time, and then it will affect prices. But what about the fact that it can be a stimulant to investors to just rush into Nigeria to set up refineries? And before you open your eyes, you see Nigeria has up to 15 refineries, and all of them doing mega size. What will that bring? That will certainly bring petroleum product consumption in the country to a very stable level, where you can then even begin to decide what quality of petroleum product you want in your car. So we have to also look at these things from the brighter side of life, that there is possibility that these can certainly become a blessing for Nigeria. We have been struggling. We've been on this for the last 65 years of all of my age. It's been a struggle, but I believe that in this season, drastic policies that are being taken, when we flip it the other side and also look at how it can also play out in encouraging the growth of the economy, we should give a smile and just say, well, I'm going to have a little frown, but my smile will be bigger as the days come by, as the months come by, as the years roll by. And I believe that Nigeria will get it right. So this is a great country, and it will happen even in our lifetime. We still have some years to live, so we'll see what our children's benefits will be. So I want to encourage us not to too much bother about the negative values that is projected, but also the possibilities that can come out of this.
Dr. Billy Giliari is the president, Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petrol. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this afternoon. We appreciate it.
And also don't forget that this can be a stimulant for NNPC to rule out with all the new dynamics to make sure that the 3 refineries work. So it's probably going to be a win-win situation for the whole of Nigeria. Thank you for having me.
All right, then. Thank you again. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right, then. Well, still to come on the program, we will be bringing you our global market.